In Venezuela, self-proclaimed Interim President Juan Guaido has called on supporters to help trucks loaded with humanitarian aid cross the border from Colombia. Incumbent President Nicolas Maduro has ordered soldiers to stop the deliveries. On Friday, 2 people died in clashes with the military at the Brazilian border. A charity concert to raise money for Venezuela was held in Colombia. Concert organizers hope to raise $100 million in aid for Venezuela. Meanwhile, a blockade guarded by soldiers loyal to Maduro is prohibiting any aid from entering the country. DW correspondent Javier Arguedas is following the story for us in Cucuta, the city at the Colombian-Venezuelan border.
The surprise appearance of Juan Guaido in Colombian territory changes things a lot here at the border between Colombia and Venezuela. Guaido is technically not allowed to leave his country, and it's hard to imagine how he will get back in. That means that according to the plan, 2 elements will have to enter Venezuelan territory by force this Saturday: the humanitarian aid and Guaido himself. Thousands of volunteers prepare for a dangerous journey.
For more, we're joined by Eduardo Mendez from DW Latin America. Eduardo, as we heard, self-proclaimed Interim President Guaido is in Colombia, even though he wasn't allowed to leave Venezuelan soil. How is he going to get back into the country?
First, he wasn't allowed by the regime, so he, as interim president, said, I will go out and I will return. That would be possible for me. Apparently, he got help from the military to get out, and his intention is, at least he said that, and his intention is to return to Venezuela, also helped by the military, by working with the humanitarian aid, and that's his part of his poker game for today. The problem is, meanwhile, the border is closed, so if he really has the support with the military, it would be easier. If not, we are in a certain situation that could be threatening for civilians especially.
Yeah, it seems like a critical moment at the border today, especially. How dangerous is the situation, really?
The situation is really tense, and the outcome is really open. We don't really know. I mean, he's optimistic that he will get in, but we have civilians there and we have military in position. So we really don't know any outcome. What we had yesterday at the border with Brazil, we had killings there, and the military reacted in a certain way, and that could happen easily today. So we really have to wait. The problem is the humanitarian aid is kind of politicized right now and is used as a political instrument, and that's a huge risk, especially for the civilians. Guaido, his intention is to return to Venezuela and to pass this border today. The risk is really high, I would say.
You talked about the military possibly helping him. The military historically has backed President Maduro. How much backing does he still have today? Is it likely they completely switch sides?
Not that easily. He has really backing in the higher ranks. That's what he is having in the last years all the time. But the lower ranks are suffering from these shortages every day. And we had an episode some weeks ago with a small coup d'etat, and in the negotiations between the higher ranks and the lower ranks, they claimed this situation. They said to the higher ranks, we are suffering too. And so you could never predict what will happen today with the lower ranks positioned at the border, but you only need one to turn into violence, and you will have a situation that could easily turn into a really problematic, violent situation.
Following the situation in Venezuela, Eduardo Mendez of DW's Latin America desk. Thank you very much.